welcome back to the deep dive. So today we are stepping onto the scale, but I want you to forget about that dusty, mechanical torture device you have hidden in the guest bathroom.
The one everyone dreads.
Exactly. We are looking at a piece of hardware that promises to be the clinical grade answer to, well, essentially every single mystery regarding your fitness. It's called the Hume Health Body Pod.
It is a very catchy name. And honestly, if you've been anywhere near Instagram, TikTok, even Facebook in the last, 6 months, you have absolutely seen an ad for this thing.
Oh, yeah?
The marketing push is just relentless.
It really is. And the pitch is so seductive.
Yeah.
I think for years, most of us have been, sort of traumatized by that single blinking number on the bathroom scale.
Right. It's just total weight.
It's such a blunt instrument. It doesn't tell you if you gain muscle, if you're just retaining water from a salty dinner, or if you actually eat too much pizza. It's just a judgment.
It is. It's a black box. And from a health perspective, that single number is often a terrible proxy for what's actually going on inside your metabolic system. You can be heavy, but incredibly healthy and muscular, or you could be light, but carrying dangerous visceral fat.
Exactly. So here comes Hume.
Yeah.
And they are marketing this device that looks like a scale, but it has this retractable handle you pull up.
Yeah.
And the claim is that it measures over 45 different health metrics. They're talking metabolic age, visceral fat, bone mass, protein rates.
Everything, basically everything.
They even claim it can tell you how much fat is in your left arm versus your right leg.
It's the ultimate promise of the quantified self. This idea that if we just have enough data, if we can visualize our biology like a dashboard in a car, we can optimize our bodies like machines.
Right, turn health into an engineering problem. But, and regular listeners know, there's always a but on this show. We have a stack of sources here that tells a much, much more complicated story.
Yes, we do.
We've got the glossy marketing and some glowing YouTube reviews on one side, and on the other, we have this messy reality filled with Reddit detectives, angry Trustpilot reviews, and a very revealing experiment involving a heavy backpack.
Oh, the backpack experiment is honestly the highlight of this research stack for me. It cuts through the marketing fluff in a way that is just, it's almost comical, but also deeply scientific in its simplicity.
We are definitely going to get to the backpack. That is our third act twist. But first, let's unpack what this thing actually is. If you buy the Hume Body Pod, what are you physically unboxing?
So visually, it looks like a high-end, futuristic bathroom scale, usually black or white, tempered glass, very sleek. It fits right into that modern minimalist aesthetic. But the key differentiator, the thing that makes people stop scrolling and watch the ad, is the handle. It sits flush in the base, but it's tethered with a retractable cord.
So when you weigh yourself, you stand on the metal plates on the base, and you reach down and pull this handle up to about waist height.
Exactly. You stand there holding it like you're about to go water skiing in your bathroom.
That is exactly what it looks like. And the reason for that handle isn't just to give you something to hold on to.
No.
It's to create what they call an 8-point contact system.
Right. On a normal smart scale, you just have electrodes under your feet. That's a 4-point system. Hume adds electrodes for your hands. This allows for what they call segmental analysis using BIA technology.
Let's pause on that acronym, BIA. Bioelectrical impedance analysis. It sounds incredibly complex, but can we break down what is actually happening when you hold that handle?
Sure. The concept is actually pretty simple. The device sends a very weak, imperceptible electrical current through your body. You don't feel a shock or anything.
Okay.
The key principle is that different tissues in your body resist that current differently.
Okay, so walk me through that. How does electricity tell the difference between my bicep and, a cheeseburger?
Well, muscle is full of water and blood, right? It's highly conductive, so it acts like a superhighway for that electrical signal. The current just zips right through.
Okay.
Fat, on the other hand, acts as an insulator. It has very little water content, so it creates resistance, or what engineers call impedance.
So the machine is basically timing how long it takes the signal to do a lap around your body.
In a way, yes. It measures the resistance it encounters. By analyzing how much the signal is slowed down, the device estimates what you're made of.
And because you're holding the handle.
Right. The signal isn't just going up one leg and down the other. It's actually completing a circuit through the torso and arms.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
That's the big advantage of the handle. Most smart scales, the cheaper ones, just measure the lower body and then use an algorithm to guess what your upper body looks like. Hume claims this 8-point system allows them to be 98% accurate compared to a DEXA scan.
which is a massive, massive claim.
It is.
For context, a DEXA scan is the gold standard. It's a medical-grade X-ray body scan that costs hundreds of dollars, exposes you to a tiny bit of radiation, and requires a lab visit.
Right.
Saying you can get 98% of that accuracy in a bathroom gadget for $150. That is bold.
They list 45 plus metrics: body fat percentage, muscle mass, body water, bone mass, protein rate, metabolic age.
The list goes on.
They even sell a wearable called the Hume Band that integrates with it to track heart health and sleep, creating this whole ecosystem.
And inevitably, there is an app. You cannot have a device like this without an app.
And there is a subscription, which we really need to flag right at the top. You can use the scale for free to see your weight and basic stats, but the premium features, the coaching, the deep dive reports, the predictive insights about your health future, that is going to run you about $10 a month.
Which is a classic move in modern tech. The hardware is just the entry fee. The real money is in the recurring subscription.
Okay, so that's the promise. A medical lab in your bathroom.
Yeah.
And before we get to the criticism, and there is a lot of it, I want to start with the bull case. Why do people buy this? Because despite the issues we're going to get into, we found sources indicating there are people who genuinely love this device and find it useful. We found a great breakdown on a blog called Menopausia.life.
This was a really insightful perspective because it highlights a specific use case where this device shines, regardless of perfect accuracy.
Right.
The reviewer focused on women in perimenopause or menopause.
Okay.
In that stage of life, and really for anyone doing serious strength training or body recomposition, the body changes in ways a standard scale simply cannot see.
Right. Let's say you're lifting heavy weights 3 times a week and eating high protein. You're losing fat, but you're gaining muscle. So the number on the scale stays exactly the same.
Yeah, but it even goes up.
Or goes up, yeah.
Which is incredibly demoralizing.
Right.
If you're only looking at weight, you feel like a failure, you feel like the diet isn't working, you might quit. The blog pointed out that the Hume Pod, even if it's not perfectly accurate down to the gram, provides psychological validation. It shows the muscle line going up and the fat line going down, even if the total weight is flat.
That's huge. It turns the scale from an enemy into I think they called it a roadmap.
Exactly. It visualizes the effort. And the other big plus is trend tracking. The expert advice, and surprisingly, even Hume's own marketing emphasizes this, is don't look at the daily number.
Right.
Your weight fluctuates daily based on how much salt you ate, how much water you drank, or where you are in your cycle.
I think we've all had that morning where we wake up 2 pounds heavier for no reason and it just ruins the day.
Right. The value here is in the lines in the graph over weeks and months, the smoothing out of the data. If the trend is heading in the right direction, the daily noise matters less.
And the app is good at that.
The Hume app is apparently very good at visualizing these long-term trends.
And honestly, looking at the reviews, the segmental data just has a cool factor. There is something engaging about opening an app and seeing a 3D avatar of yourself, seeing that your right leg is stronger than your left leg. It makes you feel like you're in a sci-fi movie.
It does. The gamification of health is a powerful motivator. We can't discount that. If seeing those colorful graphs keeps you consistent with your workouts because you want to see the muscle line go up, that is a tangible health benefit, regardless of whether the number is clinically perfect.
So we have sleek hardware, a motivating app, and the promise of seeing inside your body. It sounds great. If it works as advertised, it's a game changer. But we need to talk about the reality check. Because when you dig into the user feedback outside of the curated influencers, things get messy very, very quickly.
We do, and this is where that clinical grade claim really starts to crumble under scrutiny.
Let's talk about the Reddit thread from the roll-withing subreddit. We found a discussion led by an electrical engineer who had some, let's say, skepticism about how this scan actually works.
This was fascinating. The engineer went back to first principles. He pointed out a fundamental rule of electricity. It takes the path of least resistance.
Okay.
He argued that simply holding a handle doesn't guarantee the current is scanning every inch of your tissue in high definition.
What specific problems did he identify with that?
The contact points. Think about your hands. Are they dry? Are they calloused from lifting weights? Are they sweaty? Skin resistance varies wildly.
Right.
If you have dry hands, the electrical signal struggles to enter the body. The engineer suggested that these tiny variations in your grip or your skin moisture could wildly throw off the resistance readings.
So the data might be jumping around just because your palms are sweaty. That doesn't sound very clinical.
It's certainly not ideal. If the input signal is inconsistent, the output data is going to be noisy.
Yeah.
And that instability leads us to the most damning piece of evidence we found: the backpack experiment.
I love this story. This comes from a Reddit user named ResponsibleSock241.
A great name.
It sounds like a joke name, but the methodology was actually quite sound.
It was a perfect stress test for the algorithm. So this user wanted to test how smart the scanner really was. The logic is simple. If I gain weight instantly by putting on a heavy backpack, the scanner should see that my body hasn't changed.
Right. My arms are the same. My legs are the same. I'm just carrying a dead weight.
Exactly. A true scan, like a DEXA scan, or frankly just a human being with eyes, would see bone, muscle, fat, and then this mysterious extra 40 pounds of non-living weight on the back. It would register as other or just not tissue.
Okay.
Exactly. So Responsible SOG 241 weighs themselves normally to establish a baseline. Then they put on a rucksack weighing about 40 pounds and step back on the Hume Pod.
And what did the clinical grade AI see? Did it say error, external object detected?
No. It panicked, but confidently. It increased all the metrics.
All of them.
It decided that the user's bone mineral content had suddenly shot up by a massive amount. It decided the trunk muscle mass had increased significantly. It essentially took that extra 40 pounds and just distributed it mathematically across the body parts.
Wait, so it told him his bones got heavier? Like instantly grew denser?
Significantly heavier in the span of 30 seconds.
That is concerning.
Yeah.
Because that implies it's not actually scanning his bones. It's taking the total weight and plugging it into a formula.
Precisely. That is the aha moment for the skeptics. It suggests the device relies heavily on an algorithm based on your weight, age, and height, rather than a true real-time tissue scan. It's guessing.
Wow.
If you weigh more, the algorithm just assumes, well, a human of this weight usually has X amount of bone and Y amount of muscle to support it, so it just fills in the blanks.
That completely undercuts the GPS for your health marketing.
Yeah.
If I'm just buying a calculator that guesses my muscle mass based on my weight, I can do that with a spreadsheet for free.
Right.
I don't need a $150 device for that.
And it explains some of the other glitches users reported. We saw reports of muscle mass jumping by 20 pounds in a single day. Or a user named SpiderGirl79 who said the scale claimed she gained 7 pounds of pure muscle in a few days.
7 pounds of muscle in a few days. I wish. I would buy 10 of these scales if they can make that happen.
Biologically, unless you are Captain America or taking some very illegal substances, that is impossible. But for an algorithm that is confused by a fluctuation in hydration or weight, it's just a math error. It shows the volatility of the system if the connection isn't perfect, or if you're slightly dehydrated, the math just breaks down and the scanner just makes things up to fit the total weight.
So the hardware might be guessing. That's disappointing, especially for the price point.
Yeah.
But what about the company itself? Because this is where the story shifts from a tech limitation to a customer service nightmare.
This is the red flag section. We looked at Trustpilot and the Better Business Bureau feedback, and the pattern is honestly alarming. It's not just one or two unhappy people. It's a consistent narrative.
It seems like once you buy the device, the relationship changes drastically.
Users consistently report a support void. You go to the website to ask a question or return a faulty unit. Maybe it's not connecting to Wi-Fi or the handle is broken, and there is no phone number. None. The chat function is often permanently listed as closed or offline.
And the emails. Surely they answer email.
Auto responses. We are experiencing higher than usual volume. Users report waiting weeks for a simple reply. And this becomes a trap because of the return policy,
The famous 30-day money-back guarantee.
which turns out to be very difficult to actually use. We saw multiple complaints where users tried to initiate a return within the 30 days, but customer service dragged their feet so long, taking days or weeks to reply to each email, that the 30-day window effectively closed.
That feels intentional. That feels like a strategy to reduce returns.
It's certainly suspicious, and even if you do get a return approved, the terms are harsh. Users reported having to pay for their own return shipping, and remember, this is a heavy glass scale, so shipping isn't $5. Plus, they were facing restocking fees. Some users were even offered a partial refund of 30% to just keep the broken device.
Here, keep the broken scale that doesn't work, take 30% back. That is not a clinical grade customer experience.
No. And there are accusations regarding shipping origin, too. The website promises fast U.S. shipping 3 to 5 days, but many users, especially in the UK and even the U.S., reported waiting weeks only to see the tracking show the package originating from China, shipped via discount carriers like Every.
Which leads to the dropshipping theory.
Right. The theory among skeptics is that Hume isn't necessarily a health tech company manufacturing their own proprietary hardware from scratch. The theory is that this is a generic, cheaper smart scale manufactured in China, rebranded with slick marketing and a high price tag, and shipped directly to the consumer.
So you're paying for the brand and the app, but the hardware is potentially something you could buy on Alibaba for a fraction of the price.
That is the suspicion, and it's fueled by the review manipulation we found. We have to talk about the reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you look at the official site or even Amazon, you see thousands of 5-star ratings. But the Reddit community did some detective work here that was both hilarious and disturbing.
This was the bot investigation. I love when Reddit plays detective.
They noticed a weird pattern on Reddit threads discussing the Hume Pod. Whenever someone posted a negative review or a question about accuracy, these random accounts would just pop up to defend it aggressively. They would say things like, "I love my Hume, it's changed my life."
Which sounds normal enough, I guess.
Until users clicked on those accounts to see who they were. These accounts had almost no history, no other posts in health subreddits, just comments praising Hume, and weirdly, comments about sports betting.
Sports betting and smart scales. The classic bot combination.
It's a very specific signature of paid bot farms. These account farms generate generic activity to look real, often posting in sports betting or crypto threads to build karma, and then they're deployed to defend specific products.
That is incredibly shady. It strongly suggests an astroturfing, campaign-fake engagement designed to drown out the criticism.
Exactly. When you combine that with the Trustpilot score, which sits around a 3.1 with a very polarized love it or hate it distribution, you have to be very skeptical of the hype.
Right.
The disconnect between the perfect on-site reviews and the messy reality elsewhere is glaring.
So let's try to pull this together. We have a device that looks cool, has a great app interface, but fails the basic backpack test of accuracy. It guesses your bone mass based on your weight, and it's backed by a company that might just ghost you if things go wrong.
Yeah.
Who is this actually for? Is there an ideal user?
I think there is, but it's a narrow slice. If you are someone who understands the limitations of BIA technology, meaning, the number isn't perfectly accurate and you don't take it as gospel, but you want the motivation of a graph, it can work.
So if you just want to see the line go down and you don't care if the number is 20% off, it's fine.
Exactly. If you get a unit that functions properly out of the box, and that's a big if, and you stick to looking at the trends over 3 to 6 months, it can be a useful behavioral tool. It's for the person who needs the visualization more than the precision.
It's for the person who needs the gamification.
Yes. But you have to go in with your eyes open.
Yeah.
The hardware has been described by some users as feeling cheap and plasticky compared to competitors like Withings or Renfro, which often costs less.
Right.
And you are gambling on support. If it breaks, you might be stuck with a $150 paperweight.
And let's not forget the cost. It's not just the purchase price.
Right, the subscription model. The most actionable insights, the coaching, the predictive analysis, the deep data dives are locked behind that $9.99 monthly fee. So the total cost of ownership over a year or two is significantly higher than just buying a standard smart scale. You're essentially renting your own health data.
It seems like we are in an era where we are just desperate for our bodies to be solvable puzzles. We want a dashboard for our liver and our bones.
That's the bigger picture here. We are in the age of the quantified self. We want so badly for a device to tell us we are healthy or tell us exactly how to fix ourselves. We are willing to believe that a plastic handle can see inside our bones because we want that control.
Right.
We want to believe that if we just measure it, we can master it.
It's seductive. We want the data to save us.
But if the data is just a guess based on your weight, are you actually learning about your body? Or are you just buying a more expensive version of the same old anxiety you feel when you step on a regular scale?
That is the question to chew on. Just because it's a smart device doesn't mean it's telling you the truth.
Sometimes a mirror and how your jeans fit tells you more than the algorithm ever will.
Well, on that note, before you drop $150 on the next Instagram famous health gadget, maybe check the return policy first.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely try the backpack test.
Always check the return policy. And watch out for the sports betting bots.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.